name's Katie McCann, and this is my YouTube channel. So, welcome and thanks for joining me. So, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about myself because this is my first YouTube channel that's going to be a series. So, it's my first episode of a series, I guess is what you YouTubers would call it. But anyway, let me tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this. So, I'm a real estate agent and I work in the South Florida area. And my goal is to help educate others on the home buying process and how the market is doing so they can feel more comfortable getting into it. Because I personally think getting into the housing market is one of the best ways to make an investment. It's basically just a big saving fund as well as somewhere to live. So I really want to share my thoughts and ideas with you guys, and as well as my knowledge on what's going on with the market and how the stats are doing, what's changing with the Florida laws, what we're talking about in my real estate classes, and what I'm learning through all the research that I've been doing. I want to share with you guys because not everybody can be a realtor full time. So I'm here to help you guys feel more comfortable making that step into the real estate market. So today we're going to go over the market stats for Fort Lauderdale, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information about what's going on. So let's get started. I want to say something else before we get started because I get this question a lot. When I'm out at the grocery store and I'm talking to somebody about real estate, they always ask me, how's the market, right? We all get that question, especially if you are also in real estate. How's the market? And I always answer that question with, what market are you talking about? Because somebody that I meet in the grocery store out in Plantation, let's say, might be from Coral Springs or might be from Hollywood, and they might be thinking something totally different. Or they might have a townhouse versus having a single family home. So all of those markets are different. And good way to remember that, which I learned from my mentor, Ray Barquette, all real estate is local. So let's get started on the Fort Lauderdale market today. And then later on, I will go over a couple of other different markets. Probably Plantation, Coral Springs, Hollywood, and Fort Lauderdale are probably going to be my four major ones that I go over in this series at least. So let's get started. Okay, so some of the major numbers that I look at, or let's say that back a step. Let's go back to when people ask me, how's the market doing? So is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? How would you know? So let me tell you. So what you would base that off of is month's supply of inventory, which is this bottom number. So month's supply of inventory for August of this year versus August of last year is 5.2 versus 6.2 from last year. So an even healthy market would be a 6. And so let me explain that a little bit more. So month's supply of inventory is how many months would it, if we stop putting houses on the market right now, how many months would it take to sell off the houses that we currently have in inventory? And last year it was 6.2 months, and this year it's 5.2 months. So if a healthy market is at 6 months, being pretty much in the middle of a year, 6 months, anything below that would be a seller's market because we have less inventory. Anything above that would be a buyer's market because we have more inventory. And so that's basically, you have it right there. Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? Seller's market. So in last year, and last year we were pretty much even. So let's start looking from the top. So closed sales for 2019 versus 2018 in the month of August is down 10, almost 11%. That's a pretty significant change, which would make sense since we do have less inventory, which you can see right here. So inventory of homes for sale is down 14.5%, a little more. And closed sales are down, which would make sense since we're in a seller's market. We have less things on the market and sales are down a little bit. So it doesn't really seem like anything crazy. It pretty much makes sense. So then you can come take a look up here. And for those of you who are not from Florida, these are our median sale prices and our average sale price. The median price being, if you were to have a number line, you take the number that's exactly in the middle of that number line would be the median. And if you were to take the average, that's all the numbers in the number line added up and then divided by the amount of numbers in the number line. So you can see that the average home price as well as the median home price is probably a little higher than it is for some places. And prices are also a little better, which, would also coincide with it being a little bit of a seller's market. So those are some numbers that I tend to focus on is closed sales, month supply of inventory, and then the sale prices. And that's what I kind of focus on to look at how is the market doing that month? How is the market doing then? But as you can see, this is for August, and we are currently in October, like the middle of October. So our September numbers haven't even come out yet, which I've been waiting for. So since we're in October, I'm a little bit more concerned with upcoming statistics. So what would be good to look at for that would be pending sales and new listings, because those are going to be sales. So pending sales means that they are under contract, but they haven't closed yet. So most likely a good percentage of those will close next month because they're under contract. And generally we say that it takes 30 days to close, although if you're a realtor, it's always a little longer. And if there's always something that can happen. And I don't want to scare you guys away from home buying. I don't mean that it always takes longer in the way that it should scare you. I just mean you guys should be ready for things to come up, because there's a lot in the processes of home buying. And then something else I want you guys to focus on a little bit here is median days to contract. So like I was just talking about the pending sales, reflecting for next month, how long it takes for a listing to go pending. So how long it takes for somebody to actually put an offer in is 75 days. That's the average. So that is that's a pretty long time to have your house up on the market. That's like 2.5 months. So 2.5 months just to go under contract for the first time. And I know me being a real estate agent, a lot of the times, some of the times, it doesn't work out. So that's just for the first time going under contract. And then this number up here, you probably can't see it that well, is the percent of the list price received, which is kind of a cool number. So say you list your house, all the homes that were listed in August sold for 93% of what they were originally listed for, which is pretty good. It's up a little bit, but it was already pretty strong before. So there you have it. That is my little rundown of the single family homes in the Fort Lauderdale market. So basically it's a seller's market. Prices are up, closed sales are down, inventory is down, market a little bit. So this is townhouses and condos, same thing, Fort Lauderdale, and in August. So the closed sales are down a little bit. I don't know if you can see here, but 130 closed sales for the townhouses and condos versus 110 for the single family home. So if you don't know the Fort Lauderdale market very well, if you're from somewhere else, we do have a very large condo market. We have a lot of condos down here in Fort Lauderdale. And if you want to take a look down here, month's supply of inventory. So remember how I told you this is how I determine whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market. And since it's over 6 months, that would technically make it a buyer's market. It's not very much over 6 months, and it is down a little bit from last year, but not a significant amount, just 1%. It's still kind of in that same range. And if you look up here, the inventory is down a little bit, which, as we said before, would normally mean, okay, you're in a seller's market. Because, as you know, supply, demand, inventory down, okay, would be a seller's market. But It is not. It is because we still have a lot of inventory on the market. Just because we have that amount of condos down here, there's just a lot. So new listings is going down a little bit, which that projects a little bit to the future. Down 18% is a pretty large change. Down 18% in new listings. Uh, Pending sales is up 1.5%, a little more. So that's projecting next month. Next month we're gonna have a few more closed sales probably. Um, and new listings is down, so that might be taking a turn. It's already looking like it's going that way a little bit. It's a little hard to tell with the condos just because we have so many that it doesn't follow the same patterns as single family would. Median time to contract 91 days. And because we have so many condos, it also takes a while for somebody to pick one. So it takes the averagely median time, 91 days to go under contract. And as you can also see here, the percent of the original list price is down a little bit, which makes a little sense since it is taking that step back. Look, exactly the same number, 1.5%, 1.5%. So there you have it. So I wanted to point out to you guys is that the median sale price is up a little bit and that the average sale price is down. So let's think about that number line again. So if you're on the number line and you take the number smack in the middle, that's the median sale price. And if you take all the numbers on that number line and then you add them up and divide them by how many numbers are on that number line, you get the average sale price. So if the median sale prices are up and the average sale prices are down, to me, that would make me think one end of the spectrum on the number line isn't really being bought as much. Not necessarily that prices are down, but that we don't have as many high-priced condo buyers in the market right now. That's my takeaway from that. So there you have it. That's your townhouse and single-family rundown for the Fort Lauderdale market. And I want you guys to remember that all real estate is local. I also want you guys to remember my name is Katie McCann. This is my YouTube channel. I work for the Kai's company, and I also wanted to tell you, like you guys are probably thinking, where does this chick get these numbers from? And let me tell you, this chick gets these numbers from the real estate board, Realtors of the Palm Beaches and the Greater Fort Lauderdale is a board that I'm a part of. So if you guys did want to fact check me or you were just curious to know where I'm getting my information, that's where it's coming from. Again, I work for the Kai's company in the South Florida market, and if you guys have any questions, I will put all of my contact information below. You guys can feel free to contact me for rentals, buyers. If you guys just have any questions, if you want to know what your house is worth, I can give the rundown for any of you. Or if you guys just want to know if you qualify, I can hook you up with my lender, who is also in my first video on this YouTube channel. And he'd love to speak to you guys as well, Mark Pearlstein.